Welcome to the Cellspace Presents Review Number 3. Cellspace provides a safe and supportive public environment for the exploration of art, education, performance, and community building. Through cooperative relationships and multidisciplinary programs, we encourage the celebration of intergenerational and cross-cultural collaborations. What we value here at Cell: playfulness, sustainability, art, collectivism, community, respect, education, and diversity. The next piece we're going to see is W2, Emergency Exodus, a Crisis of Consumption. This 3-day multimedia event included dance, theater, live music, video, and many other interactive elements.
My name is Krista Denayo, and I'm the director of Flight W2 Emergency Exodus. We have had quite an experience here at Cellspace. So the piece itself is about taking the audience on a flight, an interactive flight. What happens throughout the flight is that our central character, Sane, is completely overwhelmed with all the information that's happening, and which is kind of the point of the piece, dealing with crazy flight attendants, one of whom is a survivalist character who's obsessed with safety, and the other of whom is more like a burnt-out coffee diner waitress kind of gal who ends up stripping off her clothes and becoming a bird. And the birds are the dancers who are sort of representative of spirit and flight and what our bodies contain. That's another realm that we go to.
gentlemen, we're experiencing a bit of turbulence. Everyone, please return to your seats and close your window shades. We're currently flying over deserts, dry, hot, boring, not much entertainment out there, and we know you must be getting a bit homesick by now.
Well, I'm Dorothy Henning, and I play Zephyr, who is the flight attendant in W2 Emergency Exodus. And I'm very interested and obsessed with safety, and that safety is going to make everything right and everything good. If you're safe, you'll be fine in life. And in the meantime, my entire personality isn't safe. So it's an interesting juxtaposition of what I represent, especially authority. If you'll do as they say, then you'll be fine and you'll make it. And I'm excited to be part of this production, and that represents so much the eviction of the muse in San Francisco, and I think we need a grieving period in this vacuum that we're creating so that it can be filled again with the muse.
So throughout the flight, we have news clips it's from W2's in-air news service, and we have little clips of here at home, what's happening here in the Mission District and protesting the development crisis.
There's been a whole heck of a lot of celebrating happening in the Bay Area recently. As SF has become the centerpiece of this economic and technical, delectable boom. Let's take a look. Usually there's great food, great people, intelligent people, an abundance of information, free alcohol. We had the joy of ushering people through Grace and into the courtyard where the VIP party was held.
Long and coming. The sounds in this show were long and coming. Driving across the country, we passed by a wreckage yard of planes, and I said, oh wow, wouldn't it be nice to bang on one of them from the inside during a show? So, found a bunch of stuff from a salvage yard, found things to bang them with, things to mic them with, and tried to make it sound like someone was fixing a plane.
Welcome back. The next show you'll see this evening is Burning Art Presents, The State of Art and Technology, highlighting the work of mad scientists and art technologists here in San Francisco. This show included a panel discussion hosted by John Law. So enjoy this next short.
My name is Dan Ng, and my piece was The Running Man.
All right, describe The Running Man.
The Running Man is a mechanical sculpture that basically moves along the ground and looks like a mechanical person that runs with a realistic motion. And we use them up at Burning Man in the desert, and the fun part is that we actually soak them in kerosene beforehand, and then we light them on fire, and it looks like a person running across the desert on fire, and it's pretty neat to see at night.
Basically what he does is that as the bike rolls along the ground, he's not normally stationary. It will make his arms and legs move in a running motion. Before he goes on his run, you can see that there are some pieces of Kevlar firewick on him, and he's wrapped up in Kevlar firewick, which is the same stuff that fire spinners use in their torches, and then cotton, and we soak them down in kerosene, and we light them on fire. And so it looks like a person running across the desert on fire. But basically, I put a little foot switch here, so if you want later, if there's time and it's still set up, you can make them run yourself if you want. So imagine that on fire when it's not steady.
I'm Aaron Wolfbaum, and I'm also known as Dr. Friendly.
Each finger has a fiber optic going along it, and there are sensors that sense the bend in each individual finger. There's also a tilt sensor that senses the pitch and roll of my hand. And in this way I can perform what I call live genetic engineering. Now, this is an instrument, and I must confess to you that I've only worked with this instrument for, say, a few hours maximum, and it's never really existed beforehand. Now, this system is usually in stereo, I should mention. We only had access to one speaker. One hand goes to one channel, and the other goes to the other.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now I've failed to have anyone get ready to go next. How about you?
Technology is either going to save us or kill us. It's going to decimate the planet, or we're going to use it to save us. At this point, it's decimating the planet. People aren't using it for good. So it's when those people, once again, I think, when they become enlightened and they use their power for good instead of evil.
Enhances a stare. I don't know how to describe it. Maybe Stairmaster or Gaze Enhancer or black and white TV tube. And yeah, it's made out of a little cheap TV set, and I don't know. It helps me stare at folks better. Better to see you with, you know.
Quite an eye for a light.
Yeah.
Put steel welding baskets here, set them on fire, and plug the thing in, and it throws about 60 to an 80-foot radius of sparks. It really looks nice and dark out in Black Rock City. That's where it was built for. And I'll plug it in shortly. It's really designed to work on Earth, not on plywood, and it's a little bit out of balance, and it looks a little more dangerous than it is. You see it start walking a little bit. Yeah, so it works pretty well.
My involvement with arts and science and technology is basically blowing up things and burning things. I couldn't type, didn't have a computer until a couple of years ago.
We have a question in the audience.
Audience question?
Let me do 2 cents. New York and LA art scenes are based on economics, and the industrial tech art scene in San Francisco is not. And that's what defines our scene from New York and LA. I don't show that in art galleries. Fuck art galleries. That's not why I do what I do. That isn't for sale. That's not a product. In New York and LA, most people make their art to sell. They're making products to get rid of.
Flame embellish. See, why don't you just come up here and talk on the mic, Dave? Thank you.
Flame embellisher, I think what my favorite thing about the flame embellisher and what I started out to do and what is my personal goal in machines is that I like to make them accessible to everyone. I encourage anybody to just grab some things and put them together and call yourself a mad scientist and get on it. Here at Cell, that's one of our greatest things that we got going for us is we have a lot of tools and technicians like Rich and a lot of the people we've seen here tonight. And whenever you have a project like this and you say, I'm thinking about making this flamethrower, they immediately will throw some parts at you and help you out with it. So if you're thinking about doing that and got nowhere to start, you can start here and we'll steer you in the right direction. I also want to just acknowledge Mark Paulina. When I was a teenager, I remember looking through the research magazines and thinking, wow, if only one day, I could meet somebody or see that, SRL show or whatever. And that's another great thing about being here in San Francisco is we have such access to these people. Like Cal, for instance, we can just check in at any time and say, hey, give me some help. Everybody's very accessible. The mad scientist community is very accessible. And I encourage everybody to keep playing with these toys.
Welcome back again. The next show you'll see tonight is the Pancake Palooza. Eat pancakes, save democracy.
Five acts of non-compliance. 1.
These people are getting in without paying because I'm not doing my job. Hi, it's 10 to 100 sliding scale. This is a benefit for the Republican National Convention protesters who were arrested in Philadelphia. And all of the money that these people, these hardworking individuals, are donating. Do you want change? Okay, thank you very much. Is going directly to the Legal Defense Fund for the people who got arrested.
I had some pancakes, they're really good. You had 2 choices, you have vegan, you had non-vegan. They have some really good maple syrup and they have some, you can put apples on them. And there's a tarot card reader here. Her name is Jessica Lanyadu. She's fucking good. I was like, oh my God. She was like telling me.
Well, I started reading cards about 12 years ago. My aunt started to get into them, and she would do readings for me. And about the same time I got into astrology. So I'm really interested in the use of symbols and symbols of the planets, or symbols of tarot in terms of art and how that has an effect on our lives. So I've just been studying that for the past 12 years. And as I've progressed in my reading, I've started to become a little bit less mental about it and more intuitive, and feel like I have more freedom to jump around and not follow the sort of set structure.
Is that this is actually some of the footage of the Seattle protest. We're just showing it all day, as well as a video on the Philadelphia stuff. It's called Crisis in Philadelphia, put out by Whispering Media. So I'm just taking money and donating my TV and VCR, and there's a lot of spoken word going on today. Pancakes, it's called Pancake Palooza, blueberry pancakes, coffee, all kinds of stuff.
And there was a bunch of people who were activists who got arrested and got charges put on them that were like insane charges, like for rioting or for like conspiracy, but like bails that were half of like $1 million bails, which are like, it's just out of fucking control, you know? So.
Sorensen. I'm from Philadelphia.
I'm RJ Airy, and I'm from Richmond, Virginia.
And we are defendants at the Republican National Convention demonstrations.
The privatization of the prison industrial complex is the fastest growing industry in the United States, and that's really scary.
Palooza, this is actually the second one that the Cell Space has had for activists. The first one was about 4 years ago that I helped put together for people in RAN and Greenpeace and Ruckus who were given the first felony charges for demonstrating, and they were doing a climb action on a big timber boat that was called the Super Reuben. And they needed legal fees, and so we helped them out. And that was the first time that I'd met climbers. And
that our future is being set up, and that we are set up as a cheap labor force in jails for corporations. This is so obvious, and this is so fucked up.
So originally I had 20 charges, 10 felonies. And now I'm dropped down to 4 felony charges, and they're all conspiracy-related charges. They're like conspiracy to riot, conspiracy to cause a catastrophe, criminal mischief, and just conspiracy. So
I have 6 misdemeanor charges. I'm charged with blocking a highway, conspiracy to block a highway, disorderly conduct, conspiracy to commit disorderly conduct, resisting arrest, and conspiracy to resist arrest.
And it's just messed up what's happening. So what's beautiful is though that we're not taking these cases on individually. We're working as a group and standing in solidarity, specifically to make sure that folks with felonies and high-end misdemeanors that aren't given plea bargains are not separated from the good protesters and the bad protesters. We want everybody out. We want all charges dropped. That's what we want.
That's what our point was. And people want to keep talking about that point as we go through the trial system, because that's where people are impassioned. And we're going to keep creating a campaign. There are now 230 new prison activists born out of being fucked under by Philadelphia, and the United States is in trouble.
I'm on top of the infiltration. We know exactly who's infiltrated, and we supported them and embraced them because we have nothing to hide. It's when you're coming from the best of intentions and from the heart, and nothing can stop you. I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing. Flipping, huh?
Yeah, that would be impressive.
I don't know. I'm afraid they just like hit the ceiling and stuff.
Welcome back to our final episode this evening from the Crucible Steel Gallery, Photographing the Nude.
This show is called Photographing the Nude, and it was conceived with Bill Carter and myself to have a class in the main space where we had lights and photo equipment donated by Adolf Gossers, and we had scholarships for 2 students, and the participants of the class were mostly from the Friends of Photography who co-sponsored the class. The class was 1 day, and we had 4 models, and each student was given the opportunity to shoot a male and a female model over an hour period using professional lighting equipment. Then they went to Rayco Photography Center and developed the film. And then this show, which is 4 months later, is the finished work of that photo session. So we're really lucky to have this wide array of eyes seeing the same thing.
It was a wonderful experience being here at Cell. I must say, this is a kind of place you can't possibly describe to anybody else. You have to experience it and be here. And all we did was really set up some situations, and the students took it from there.
And I just had a really great time because nudes are, the human body is such a form that for art, it has everything all in one. It doesn't cost anything, it's just there, you don't have to use anything up, you don't destroy anything, and you have to just work with the body itself. It's landscape, props, it has an infinite amount of surfaces.
Thanks for watching our show today. Cell Space is a volunteer-run organization, and we always need support from people like you. If you have a good idea for an event or a class, or you just want to get involved, stop by our website, send us some email, or just stop in to Cell.
Chicken.